Okay, I'm so glad that we coordinated wardrobes because I almost wore that same outfit there from this last presenter, so I'm glad. Best dressed award for sure. All right, well, thanks to the organizers for giving me a minute here. I'm a last minute fill-in, and the startup ecosystem and investing in Bitcoin companies, as well as for founders learning how to raise money and navigate these waters, is pretty overwhelming with the amount of information that there is. So when you take a series of presentations that are each, say, 55 minutes, and then they say, can you do it in 15? And then somebody says, how about 10 because we're running late. We're going to just hit on some high points here and go as quick as possible, okay? But thanks to the organizers for giving me a chance to get up here and hang out. Okay, everyone has heard of routing nodes, right? Has everyone heard of a routing node, a Lightning node? You route payments. Well, you can think of us with Lightning Ventures and some of these other people here that we're going to talk about as routing nodes for payments to entrepreneurs and founders and companies in the startup space, right? I like to say that we're opening channels with founders when we invest in them, okay? So why am I here? I'm here because I think that Africa is going to be a big, big part of Bitcoin's future and the amount of people that are here and the place where it's at right now. And you can see that with the amount of builders that they're actually here. So this is me, no one cares, right? I was in the music business for quite a while. I'm a late 2012 Bitcoiner, and I'm an angel investor in over 1,500 companies. Those are not unique to Bitcoin. That's everything going on in the world. And, I was thinking about this before on the financial companies that I've invested in Africa. There's a lot of them. So I made a short list of what I could earlier in the room, and these are these companies. Ready? Asak, Namba, PayHippo, Raise, Chipper Cash, Dash App, DoPay, Klasha, Paga, Umba, Wallets.Africa, Pocket.io, MarketForce 360, Bamboo, Keepa.Africa, Ajua, Nextford, Fingo.Africa, Vendy's, Relief. Not one of them has anything to do with Bitcoin. What is their problem? What is their problem, okay? But the main point of this is that venture is ready for Africa, okay? Venture is ready for Africa, and it's ready for Bitcoin, and we're going to get into that. All right, quick couple of PSAs here, because when you're talking on a continent you've never been in a country you've never been in, to a crowd that you really don't know, you got to give a few PSAs here, right? So investing in Bitcoin companies is not a substitute for buying Bitcoin. There's a lot of pre-coiners or new coiners here, right? You want to buy Bitcoin first. 40% inflation in your country, okay? That is where you should direct your resources, okay? Get smart, learn how to secure your Bitcoin, understand mnemonic seed phrases, get these basics, pull it off the exchanges, acquire Bitcoin, right? So this is not a substitute. And when in doubt, ask first. Always stack sats, okay? That's what you want to do, all right? Don't sell a meaningful amount of Bitcoin, and just like hodling Bitcoin, a low time preference is required. Okay, so builders, all right, founding and funding. We're going to put some fun back in funding, okay? And it's overwhelming when you start your company to start thinking about incorporation and what do we do and all of that stuff, right? And you don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on building. Okay, so just rest assured when the time is right for you to incorporate and do things the proper way, there's going to be people like myself, Abubakar from Recursive, Nico from Ego Death is here, okay? All of these Bitcoin-focused VCs are here to shepherd you through that process, okay, of starting your company. All right. And, some PSAs for Bitcoin companies, just to touch on it. All right, you're going to probably do a C Corp. We're not going to go into all this, not an LLC. We're going to help you incorporate. You're going to put together all your materials in one nice drive. that you can easily send to us VCs, all right, and then understanding who you're talking to and why that might be a good or not so good fit for your company, okay? And if a VC or somebody tells you that they're not investing, okay, think of this as a relationship. These relationships develop for years, okay, lots of time. So it's never no, it's always just like no for now. You know, you want to keep sending them your investor updates and what you're doing. Keep them in the loop, okay? And don't take it personal, because not every business is venture, is investable from a venture perspective, okay? We're not going to talk about options pools. We're not going to talk about lead investors. We don't care about that. All right, and don't get overwhelmed, okay, when you start thinking about all this stuff, whether you're an investor or whether you are a builder, right, starting a okay, don't worry about liquidation preferences, all right, and warrants and all of this nonsense, okay? This is going to come over time. This stuff takes years to learn, lifetimes to master, if it can even be mastered. Okay, so Bitcoin companies. This is a slide of some companies that we've invested in through Lightning Ventures. You know, back when we started investing in Bitcoin companies, there wasn't that much you could invest in. Everything was pretty much a wallet or an exchange. It was very limited in what you could actually invest in. And what we're seeing now is we're seeing a lot of different companies in different sectors, right? Crowd Health is a health company that just adopted Bitcoin. That's not a Bitcoin company, but they've adopted it as a crucial part of their business. You have Thunder Games in the gaming and the play-to-earn space. You have Pleb Lab, which is an accelerator. You've got Galloy. Nicholas is here. I mean, they're building the infrastructure for all of these products on which this stuff is built, right? Everyone knows Blockstream and Bitcoin Beach Wallet, which is a bank in El Salvador. Voltage is spinning up nodes across the world. And there's just a wide variety of different sort of things that are investable, right? But what's interesting here about this slide is there's really only 2 companies that are doing business in Africa. And y'all got a heck of a lot of people here, okay? And those would be, of course, BitNob. I love Bernard. He's got like a fantastic energy. He's one of the most positive people, okay? So you have BitNob that's here on the continent. And then you have Teco, which is a global voucher system that distributes, right? These are the only 2 companies that are actually doing business here in Africa. And when you look at the track for Bolt Fun, right, the building in Africa right now, 12 entries, okay, 12 entries compared to the other track that they're doing, which had 73 entries. Okay, so we need the builders. We need people here. All right, and I want to let you know that we're ready to support you, okay? And that's what it's all about. Okay, so we'll just touch on this a little bit, and by the way, on the time, you're going to have to flash me when I get there. So just let me know, or else I just won't shut the hell up. Okay, so couple of players here, right? We have the venture capitalist, right? The evil VC. Everybody knows them. They come in different flavors and sizes. You know, it's like Lord of the Rings. You know, you've got trolls and all these kind of other little people, right? But they come in different sizes. There's micro VCs. There's big VCs. And I can promise you we're not all bad. And what we do is we help you through the life cycle of your entire company, right? From the beginning to an exit. Right, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. Everyone thinks about exits, you know. If we have an IPO, you call it an exit. But in reality, that's actually just the very start of that company's life cycle. So we have angel investors, right? These are individual people. They invest their own money. They cut their own checks, and they invest usually direct small amounts. We have scouts and advisors. Maybe you have a particular specialized knowledge, okay? And you can advise a company that's building, and you can get equity, right? You don't have to actually just invest money into companies. You can invest your time, okay? That's another way to do it. All right, private equity, these guys usually go after much later stage. It's usually all about control at that point in time, right? They invest lots of money in the later stage cycles of a company. They take control. It's about a different kind of deal at that point in time. And then you have limited partners, which are LPs for short, and those are investors in funds. If you didn't want to do the work and invest in companies yourself, you could just be a limited partner. okay? And just real quickly, if you're a builder or a young entrepreneur here thinking about starting your own business, these are the type of people that you would want to raise from. And first and foremost is friends and family. And you have the angel investors, VCs, syndicates, which is interesting. Syndicates is a group of investors that get together to invest in a company. And then, of course, crowdfunding, okay? And I wanted to speak about crowdfunding here in Africa in just a second and touch on this. All right, let's do some pros and cons, okay? Pros, it's illiquid. How is that a pro? I happen to like that. I don't know if you guys are looking at stocks or your portfolio, or maybe you're emotionally affected by the Bitcoin price, okay? Which after you've been doing this for a while, you will no longer care because one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, and we all know that. So I actually like the fact that when you invest in a private company, you can't hit the sell button, okay? All you can do is support that founder and those teams and just champion them as best you can do. You can be impactful, you can be positive, but you can't hit the sell button. For me, this is a feature, but for a lot of people, it's not. It's also a con. Okay, YOLO gains, that's right. Okay, we're gonna talk about some YOLO gains examples here in a minute. You get write-offs, okay? If something doesn't work out or dissolves, that comes off on your tax return. That's a positive. And at the same time, this is not an anonymous sort of deal, okay? There's cap gains, there's KYC. That's how this works. These are real investments, not a scam coin, okay? A pro, you get to see rad shit. That's not a technical VC term, but you do. You get to see really cool things that are happening all over the world, right? And investing in early stage companies, which we're talking about Bitcoin companies here, investing in any early stage company is how you can build tremendous wealth. Okay, these are not meme stocks, okay, this is not some coin, this is not a pump and dump, but the type of returns, okay, can be outsized, right, that you can't really find anywhere, and that's why the government and the man makes it very, very hard for you to participate, because they don't want you to participate in early stage investing, because that's how you make a bunch of money, okay, so we're gonna hopefully change that. Okay? Con, it can be addicting. It will take over your life, I promise you, if you let it. There's just too much cool stuff, all right? There's gas stations in outer space. There's vegan tennis shoes. You know, there's dogs, you know, pills that make your dog live longer. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out there, right? But we're just focused on Bitcoin investing because we're so early with Bitcoin. Like, we're so early with Bitcoin right now that we're crazy early for investing in Bitcoin companies. Legal and regulated, yes, there are fees, that's a con. Pros is you get to be impactful. You get to have a direct relationship with these founders, these teams. You can give them product feedback, okay? You can download something at an early stage. I guarantee you right now, if you downloaded BitKnob and there was some sort of bug that you reported or something that was going on, you email that to Bernard, my man is on it. Okay, and you can't really do that with a lot of later stage companies, okay? And of course, it takes time, okay? All right, so how to play. You got funds, you got direct investments, you got crowdfunding, you got secondaries and syndicates. We're going to go real quick, okay? So maybe you go to somebody who's raising a fund, like Nico from Ego Death is here, or Abubakar from Recursive. They have a fund, right? People give them money. They have expertise in investing in Bitcoin companies, and then they deploy that, all right? That's what they do. Funds have a little bit higher fees and certainly higher minimums, okay? So there's a trade-off there for that knowledge, but these are the experts, and that's what they do. You have direct investments, right? You meet a founder at a conference like this, maybe one of the exhibitors outside, and they say, you know what, yeah, we're raising an angel round, or we have a little roll-up vehicle open, or we're happy to take a small check, okay? This stuff doesn't take a lot of money. You don't need a crazy amount of money to be an angel investor. You can invest very small amounts, and I actually advocate investing small amounts, right? Because the numbers can always go up in the future. Invest in small amounts in a wide variety of deals with high signaling, okay? Read the updates from the founders, see what you can do to help them, and then you can invest more later because you will get another opportunity. Okay, crowdfunding. Now, in Africa, I only found a couple of resources, okay? This is country by country, and it varies, but there's one that's called uprise.africa. There's an African Crowdfunding Association. There's something called Thunda Fund, okay? And there are no Bitcoin companies on these platforms yet, but I believe that Bitcoin companies will find the crowdfunding in Africa once it becomes more of a robust place for founders, right, when they start building more. Okay, and we have secondaries. Secondaries is if you were an employee for an early employee at one of these Bitcoin startups or any early stage technology company for that matter, and you wanted to sell some of your equity. Maybe your equity is worth $2 million and you're having a life event. Maybe you want to take $300,000 off the table. Maybe your daughter's getting married. Maybe you're buying a house. These are not bad things, right? But that's a market in which you can sell a portion of some of your equity, right? That's called a secondary. And then syndicates, woo, that's my favorite, okay? And that's one of the things that we run at Lightning Ventures, which is a group of people who are all accomplished, badass individuals who like to invest in these companies, so that if Bernard or KG from Machinkura or somebody says, hey, let's leverage the network, and we fill that deal with, 50 or so individual unique investors that all have their own skill set and their own superpowers, that when they send those updates out, okay, we get to forward them off to the people who invested in that deal, and we get to really farm them and leverage that, right? Because we might have a marketing guru in there. We might have an iOS expert who can hop on the phone with the founder for 30 minutes for free or no charge because they invested in the deal. So this is a little bit of the landscape there. No idea how I'm doing on time. Okay, so venture investing, keep it going. He says that's the universal sign there for keep it going. All right, so power law. Venture investing is a power law, okay, which means a lot of these companies are going to zero, but some of them are not. And the ones that aren't are going to have crazy YOLO gains, as the kids say, right? And a lot of people talk about unicorns, okay, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited to be here in Africa. I don't look for unicorns to invest in, okay? I like to think of them as dinosaur babies, okay, or dragon eggs, all right? Unicorns are very cheap, okay? And Africa is a dragon egg of a Bitcoin investment opportunity, all right? What else do we have here? All right, let's do some high scores, and then we'll cut it at that. All right, so it's hard to put some Bitcoin comps on here, but I do have a few interesting ones. The first one is Coinbase. Over this time period, from May 2013 to October 2018, Coinbase stock, this is before, while they were private, appreciated 364x. 364 times your money from that period, and Bitcoin appreciated 50x over that time period, okay? Kraken, from May 2014 to February 2019, was 115x versus Bitcoin's 9x. Over that same period, okay? So I still believe that this is the best way to diversify and complement your HODL position, all right? It's not a substitute, but these are some examples that you can do here. Okay, so let's do this real quick. SoftBank invested $20 million in Alibaba, turned it into $143 billion. Bada, bada, boom. Did you hear that? $20 million into $143 billion. Imagine if you invested $1,000. Would be pretty darn good. Okay, Airbnb, a $20,000 investment in their seed round. When that sounded like a ridiculous idea, who would want to sleep in someone else's house? I'm going to let someone sleep in my house. That's nonsense. $20,000 would have got you $2 billion at their IPO. All right, think about that. Coinbase, again, now this is after they went public, right? Because my first number was before they went public. But that's roughly a 4,000x return, all right? Not including for dilution and options pools and some of these other things. These are back of the envelope. Okay, WhatsApp, Sequoia, $60 million into $3 billion. And that just took 3 years' time. Okay, they took the entire B round there. Uber, $25,000 in their seed was $100 million. Okay, Jason Calacanis famously did that investment. Now, here, that took 9 years. Okay, these are not quick exits here. And then Google's Series B was $12.5 million in '99 to $4.3 billion in 2005. Okay, and that's what we're playing for. Okay, so we have some crowdfunding stuff here. Yippee yay yay! You're going to look all that up. These are some really good books and resources if you want to get going. My man is going to cut me off here. That is it for that. And there's all these type of things that you can invest in, right? Whether it's equity or convertible debt or safe notes or tokens and other scams. Those are the only ones you don't want to invest in. No tokens, no scams. And listen, don't write a bunch of big checks into a very small amount of deals, okay? Write small checks into a lot of high-quality deals that some of the Bitcoin VCs that you trust invest in. And I think that's got to be 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
A round of applause for Mike, ladies and gentlemen.